Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the last game for tonight. We have Vinicius or Vinicius or something with the V, Kevin's team, versus Post Haste Gaming. It is currently a 1-1 in this finals, and we are not joined by a co-caster anymore, as Doze needed his beauty sleep, he told me. So I am for now going to be solo casting, but you know, to be perfectly honest with you, I am perfectly able to ramble about absolutely nothing for hours on end because I do nothing else the entire day. This is basically my bread and butter. So for now, we're going to look at the bans. Here we have Flux, Bushwhack, Scrap, Sapphire, and Nymphora. I think we have seen the Bushwhack, Sapphire, and Accursed bans in that exact order. I think 1 or 2 games in a row now, so they're really making a statement here that they don't want to play against those heroes. Notably, the Accursed, I think, is a bit surprising there, that they really don't want to play against that heroes to this extent. But the Accursed, I would say, is actually really playing into the playstyle that the Post Haste Gaming team wants to play, which is get some basic items and then team fight, team fight, team fight. So it makes sense to ban it. Now for the Hellborn team, the bans is Flux, Scrap, and Nymphora. I think those are also the same bans, which means that the Nymphora notably is a bit surprising that they really don't want to play against that. But Scrap and Flux actually makes a lot of sense because the disruption by the Flux is just too much to really deal with if you want to have a coordinated team fight. And especially if you're playing like a squishy ranged carry like they have been doing so many times in a row now, like the Sapphire, like the Calamity, like the Master Farms last game, then getting displaced by a Flux to this extent is usually really hard to deal with. So it makes sense, is what I'm trying to get at there, I guess. We see the Engineer first pick is not really a surprise either. Engineer, of course, being a very, very powerful hero. The Plague Rider is... like, the Plague Rider got picked up earlier today. I think it was game 1. And it really did nothing, that entire game there. Yeah, that was the game against Jeremiah. I feel the Plague Rider really did not come to fruition there, that pick. As it didn't really do much in the early game. I think there were some really good bounces in the late game, but that's about it. And then we see Calamity and Monarch being picked up by the Hellborn sides here. Lords of Forest being banned makes sense. They've been picking that up a lot. So I think what if I were to be guessing right now, you know, if you are the Legion team, you have the Plague Rider. It's just quite good against those like big grouped team fight situations that the Hellborn likes to do. But I think the reason why it didn't really work out in the first game was because they lacked lockdown. And I think they need to prioritize getting lockdown. Getting big AoE stuns here. As Hag, Pharaoh, Kraken, Torture, and Predator get banned here from the from both sides. The Hag, I don't know how much they needed to really ban the Hag here. I guess if Hag gets a Shrunken, they're never killing him with those 3 heroes. But in the early game, like the Monarch Q is not that slow these days, so they might actually be able to quite efficiently deal with the Hag, especially if they get the Engineer ultimate off. And of course, Engineer ultimate with a staff later on, of course, also very powerful against the Hag. But yeah, so they want, I think, if the Hellborn, or so the Legion team here, if they were to be picking some good tanky cores, I don't know to what extent Calamity can deal with that. And also, notably, Devo is still up. like Devo has been up 2 games in a row, and it is not being picked up like at all, which is really surprising to me. Especially since the popularity of the Devo in the past couple of tournaments or the cycles, the fall off of Devo, or the fall off of the popularity of Devo, is really surprising to me. Valkyrie and Behemoth. Oh, I don't like the Behemoth pick at all, actually. So Valkyrie, I think, is an underrated hero at the moment. The Q does 500 damage at the moment. That's a lot of damage. And since it prioritizes heroes, the second iteration of the Call of the Valkyrie, the Q, it prioritizes heroes now. So even if there's a creep light next to you, you still get like more damage from the Q. But just think about it. How many other heroes have like a Q that does 500 damage? Not many. It's really good. Of course, if you have Genko in your team, and he only skills his W and his E and then stats for the rest of the game, that is, of course, a different story, but I'm going to assume that that is not going to happen here on the Legion side. But the Behemoth, I think, is a bit of a liability here, to be perfectly honest with you. Because the Behemoth, very similar to the Magmus, Behemoth needs that PK. And if you don't have a PK on Behemoth, Behemoth just really does not do that much. Now, Behemoth did, of course, get some notable buffs this patch. So, and the Jeremiah pickup, cool. So the Behemoth Q now stuns for a little bit longer in the early game. It scales, like the level 1, 2, and 3 stuns are a little bit longer, while the level 4 stun is the same. And the W, the Enrage Stomp, is significantly faster. And that's a Uno reverse card, as the Ophelia is picked up as the last pick here from the Legion side. I don't think they were expecting that. The Jeremiah and the Lodestone being picked up for the Hellborn team is, of course, means that they have good team fight. But against that Jeremiah ultimate, the Plague Rider ultimate still is a menace. And if I'm looking at this team, like the Jeremiah and the Lodestone and maybe even the Calamity are all kind of going to be balled up together, which means that it's very difficult potentially for the Hellborn for the Hellborn team here to team fight into the Plague Rider. So if I'm looking at the drafts, right, I think the weakness of the draft from the Legion side is the Behemoth. Because I would say you much rather have Magmus plus Valkyrie lane. Because Magmus is just a way better setup stun for the Valkyrie arrow. And Magmus is just a really good roamer. And then you can have like Ophelia, Magmus, and Valkyrie tri-lane. A solo in the bottom lane, which basically now is the Magmus here. And then you can have Plague Rider middle, it's kind of whatever. But instead, what they're going to have here is a Magmus in the solo lane, which is quite good, I will say. I think Magmus can do more than fine in the solo lane here. But like the Behemoths in the top lane, if they tri-lane against that, like Behemoth is just going to be killed over and over again, I would say. Notably also, Behemoth, I think, is quite weak against Engineer. If you get the energy field off, Behemoth cannot jump in there. So the energy field at that point is like such a huge defensive tool. Also, they actually ward up the Hellborn jungle, but without checking at all if like the Ophelia is going to go offensive jungle. Especially since they are playing a 2-1-2 lineup here, it seems. So maybe the Monarch actually blocks the camps here. That might be a possibility. Yeah, the Monarch is actually going to block the hard camp here. I would think so. Yes, he actually blocks it with the ward. I did not actually catch that. But yeah, so they are going to be playing a 2-1-2 lineup here for the Hellborn team. Magmus not actually blocking his own Oh, and actually look at this. Ophelia porting to his own jungle. Only noticing that his entire jungle's blocked. Both camps are blocked here. Oh no, this is actually a disaster for the Ophelia here. As Ophelia is going to find an empty jungle and might actually have to rotate all the way to top lane now. Meanwhile, we see actually 3 people on the top lane here. Which means that unless the Valkyrie doesn't have his E. So Valkyrie needs to be a little bit careful. No, Valkyrie actually gets first blood there on the Monarch. I think they're happy with that. Because the Valkyrie was very much like committed to that fight or that kill there. But after that first blood now, it's going to be a tri-lane versus a dual lane. And Ophelia, after 2 minutes has passed almost, is still looking for one hard camp creep to take over. As a little bit of harass damage is going on in the top lane. And meanwhile on the bottom lane we see that Vulka and the Lodestone and the Magmas are going at it a little bit here. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give the edge to the Lodestone in this 1v1 situation, although the Magmas really is not as weak in like a 1v1 situation there, because being able to hit the Lodestone with that E, that volcanic touch, is of course really powerful. Ophelia did manage to find a Skelly King here, as he's gonna run into the Monarch here, but it's going to be a solo Ophelia against 3 people here. The Monarch might actually fall still. Yes, the Monarch is actually going to fall here to the Ophelia and the Skeleton King, which might actually be really valuable for Max here, because think about it, like all the jungle camps are blocked, especially if like the Ophelia or the engineer goes to a hard camp here and blocks that one. He desperately needs like that creep there. A little bit of harass damage coming out on the Calamity as Behemoth stun into the Valkyrie arrow comes out, but there's just so little regen here for the Legion side, as they both kind of need to go back to regen, or at least get back to full HP and mana here. And Ophelia still level 1. This is rough. Like, as the Behemoth might be in a little bit of trouble. No, the Behemoth is going to be fine here. Monarch pressing his Q on the Valkyrie. Valkyrie taking a little bit of harass damage. Yeah, so playing with Ophelia lineup, especially against like good Ophelia players, is always a bit difficult. They see the 2 supports here actually rotating over. They have full vision of that. That's good. But the Valkyrie has to go back to base. The Behemoth now is also under-leveled. Monarch taking a little bit of harass damage here from the Ophelia, and the Skeleton King Ophelia getting a kill there. But now Behemoth might be in a little bit of trouble as the Calamity comes to join the party. Which, of course, ooh, you see the arrow path here. And that is a 5-second arrow on the Behemoth. Behemoth might be able to get a turn kill here. Behemoth is getting it. No! That felt deserved. That felt deserved. Okay. Vagabond leader. Kill him. Use your Q. Do it. Ah, unlucky. The engineer managing to kill the Behemoth there, despite the huge arrow from the Valkyrie. But yeah, the Valkyrie is 350 GPM, same as the Calamity here. But look at the items from the Valkyrie. Valkyrie is just spending a lot of his gold that he gets on regen as he picks up the bottle here. It's a bit rough, I would say, actually, as Magmas and Lodestone in the bottom lane are going at it. The Lodestone popping his ultimate, and that is the head smash right to the dome. Magmas, nothing but a pool of lava underground. Magmas is going to fall there. The Magmas does have his ultimate. Notably did not have mana for it. And yeah, gets taken out there by the Lodestone. Lodestone level 6, of course, doing so much damage with that head smash. Yeah, so it's a bit difficult here. I don't know what you would really do, because Ophelia needs to get some levels. Like Ophelia, if you rotate too much on Ophelia in the early game, yeah, like you need level 7 and then you can start pushing towers. And of course, like you have your window in the early game when that Ophelia is really strong, actually, as Max, the Ophelia, runs into the Engineer, but the Engineer might be a little bit too comfortable there as he... The uphill misses! Oh my god! That was 2 uphill misses in a row. One from Plague Rider, one from Ophelia. And Engineer lives by the skin of his teeth and gets on out of there. Oh my god, Engineer. You lucky mother effer. Engineer twice in a row, actually, notably. Barely surviving. If we go over as a quick side tangent to the mid lane here, Josiah with that DD rune. The Plague Rider is actually slightly ahead of the Josiah there. Oh, but Josiah is maybe going for a kill here. And that is hurting Josiah, but Plague Rider is actually quite fast. And the slow is not that strong in the early game for the Josiah, and that means that the Josiah is not going to be able to kill the Plague Rider. But meanwhile, on the top lane, we see that the Behemoth actually gets picked up by the Tri lane. And Valkyrie now takes a lot of damage from the Monarch Q. Monarch Q actually managing to catch the Valkyrie there. Means that the Valkyrie is probably a little bit out of position as his leap was also on cooldown. And it means that both the Behemoth and the Valkyrie are going to fall here. I think that the Legion side is in a little bit of trouble, actually. I feel like the picks are really good, but the execution was lacking. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, like, we see why Lodestone is such a feared like laner against something like a Magmus. Like, Lodestone is just spamming his W on cooldown on the Magmus, and the Magmus is taking so much damage from that. It's like Lodestone blocks the damage with his E. Man, Lodestone is such a frustrating hero to play against sometimes. But yeah, we see Behemoth actually... the Plague Rider going to the top lane, but they have a good ward here. They actually see this. Menelay on the Behemoth not even having boots yet means that he actually not able to set up that kill on the Calamity there. Meanwhile, the 2 supports... Oh, actually, there is a Max there on the Ophelia. That is... The arrow is just going to miss, but it doesn't matter. The butterfly is going to fall. Ophelia picking up a haste rune there means that he is going to be fine. Plague Rider... pressing ultimate on the Engineer there, who's standing on top of 2 other creeps. And he just gets blown up. Wow, that is a lot of notable cooldowns used for the Hellborn team. I don't know if the haste rune was just sitting there for a little while already. But that was like a Ophelia without boots that just picked up a haste rune, so that definitely saved his life. But yeah, like Ophelia being levels, or still not being level 6 here. While you really need that level 7 on Ophelia, notably. Means that he is still in a lot of trouble. Menelay falling once again in the top lane, and Valkyrie doesn't have his leap. Valkyrie also goes down to the Tri lane. The Plague Rider ports in. Plague Rider has that W on the... actually, Max gets queued by the Monarch. The Minotaur's not hitting the Calamity, but the Calamity means Calamity is going to survive. Engineer was also in a little bit of trouble because he was getting hit by the Minotaurs, but the lack of focus fire on the Legion team means that, like, the entire Hellborn team is going to survive with 100 HP. That is some really unfortunate coordination there from the Legion side, because also that's a kill on the Plague Rider. Plague Rider was the only one that was, like, still snowballing there. Or, like, having a good game on this Legion side, as Magmus is really not having a good game. He's 0-1-0. Only 208 GPM versus this Lodestone, who's having like a proper game. I think he maybe bought Alkbones. Yes, of course he did. Alkbones on the Lodestone here. And he is chilling in this bottom lane. He is just chilling. Actually, we see the Behemoth being bullied by 3 people here. But here comes Plague Rider. Plague Rider having an ultimate, but choosing not to use it, because they were just not close enough to the Monarch and the Engineer, and the Josiah weren't close enough to really do something with that. The Valkyrie actually in the top lane. Valkyrie pops his leap. There's no ultimate from Calamity, but it doesn't matter. Monarch actually going in for the Q. The arrow misses on the Valkyrie. Sorry, Valkyrie does get a counter kill, which is really big. Valkyrie also not skilling his ultimate here is... Do you know what I... Like, do you guys remember what I said about, like, 10 minutes ago? About a certain Valkyrie not skilling his ultimate? I feel like Kienko and Kevin share, like, a brain or something. Like, same brain cells or something. Sharing a singular brain cell. Plague Rider in the mid lane, we see that the Valkyrie, Plague Rider pick up the Engineer. The Engineer died for the tower. I think Engineer is very much happy with that. But yeah, look at this Behemoth. Behemoth still does not have boots. And like against something like a Calamity that just runs you down, having those boots is so important. In the top lane, the Calamity is probably trying to commit for this tower kill here. The Magmas is going to defend it. Magmas actually stuns in, but there's a Monarch behind. The Calamity is going to be able to probably pick up the Monarch here. Sorry, the Magmas here. Magmas is going to fall. Good positioning by the Monarch. It's no vision that the Magmas could play on. No teleports from his teammates. That is just unfortunate. Max now finally hitting at level 7, which he so desperately needs, but there's a level 10 Lodestone with Outbounds. And the Jerazai is running down the Plague Rider. Plague Rider running for his life. Plague Rider going to be able to survive. The Lodestone is chasing him. There's no ultimate on the Valkyrie. The Plague Rider is actually going to survive barely because of the stuns there for the Behemoth. Lodestone ultimate hitting Ophelia. Ophelia getting blown up. Behemoth in the backline falling to the Engineer. There's a Jerazai ultimate to basically just flex on his opponents, as I don't think there was any damage, at least physical damage, coming out anymore. But if nothing else, it's a little bit of HP regen. And it's free, right? Why not just use it? Yeah, the Jerazai ultimate being popped. They're like, I don't think they really need to save it for anything. Actually, that's a Valkyrie ultimate being popped here by the Legion side. I don't think that they actually knew it. Yeah, actually, there's the Monarch W on the Calamity. Calamity being saved by the Monarch. That is huge. Valkyrie is in a lot of trouble now. Valkyrie being chased down. The Calamity does actually fall after the Monarch W to the Plague Rider Q. Valkyrie being chased down. The Monarch does have a Q up. Hits the Q on the Valkyrie. Valkyrie does not have a leap up. Behemoth is here, but that's Behemoth without boots. Behemoth without boots, somehow saving his Valkyrie carry from the Jerazai. Jerazai not being able to actually run down the Valkyrie. Which means the Valkyrie is going to live here. Valkyrie is still like 400 GPM, which is definitely not bad. But it's not where you want to be. And if you look at the GPM scoreboard, like there's a notable difference there. Although, of course, they did just kill the 500 GPM Calamity. But Calamity just... Like, Calamity doesn't necessarily need... like, farming items or something. Calamity kind of farms passively with those dragons. And if you have, like, enough levels, as you see the Q doing quite a lot of damage here, actually, to those creeps. And, like, at some point, Calamity becomes quite a strong mid-game hero, and you can just kind of snowball with him at that point. As Menelay is getting close to boots. Maybe, I feel like, at this point... actually, Magma's ultimating the Calamity. Calamity getting out of there. Magma's stun being on cooldown still. Magma's not being able to disjoint the Monarch Q. Magma's is going to fall as a result. The Calamity just ultimates, securing the kill there. Magmas was invis with... sorry, had an invis rune actually. But Magma's ultimates was just barely not enough to finish the job there. I think if Magmas had level 11, that may have been like a different story. Although level 11 ultimates, actually as Plague Rider here is in a little bit of trouble, as Monarch and Jerazai are both collapsing on the Plague Rider. Plague Rider is going to fall as the teleport of his gets cancelled by the Monarch. Even the Ophelia ultimate was not enough to save the Plague Rider there. Plague Rider going down. Actually, in the bottom lane, we see that Lodestone is getting jumped by Behemoth and Valkyrie, but there's a counter turn or counter potential here. The Behemoth gets blown up by the Lodestone ultimate and W. Valkyrie now has to back off and run. The ultimate from the Valkyrie, of course, already being used. They used that to set up the kill there, or to kill attempt there on the Lodestone. but it wasn't enough. Very disorganized team fighting coming. They're coming from the Legion side. I feel like since the Ophelia did not have a good early game. Oh, sorry, in the bottom lane actually. There is a lot of action coming. They see a post haste coming in. There's the Lodestone. Lodestone is here to kick some ass. And the Monarch actually using his W to survive. And there is a big smash from the Lodestone on the Ophelia. Ophelia goes down instantly. The Lodestone is now on the run. But the Monarch ultimate makes him so fast. And there's Jeremiah. Jeremiah can, of course, uses the charm on himself, actually, instead of on his teammate there. But he uses the heal on his teammate. In the backline, we do see the Plague Rider actually falling. And meanwhile, the Lodestone goes down here. The Jeremiah is now all alone against 3 people. The Jeremiah is likely going to fall here. Is he actually? There's not that much damage from the Legion side here. And the Calamity didn't even port. Calamity actually had a teleport on cooldown that entire fight. So that was a 4v5 team fight. That was... disorganized. For lack of a better, lack of a different word. I mean, the post haste from Lodestone, of course, is a very good pickup. As you saw there, they jumped the Monarch initially, or tried to jump the Monarch initially with the Ophelia, and instantly the Lodestone is already there. Lodestone, of course, not really requiring any other sort of boots or something like that. But yeah, the rest of the Legion side just not really being there in time and not really being able to do much there. And of course, like Behemoth. Like this, I said this Behemoth pick was bad at the start, or I didn't like it. And I feel like this is why. If like this was a Magmus suffering instead of Behemoth, like a Magmus is significantly harder to kill. Behemoth, you jump him and he's dead. And as the Ophelia, sorry, the oh my god, that arrow misses again. I said as the... I meant to say as the Valkyrie ultimate comes out, the arrow really not connecting as much as they would maybe like. Valkyrie is likely going to fall here to the 3 people rotation. Valkyrie ultimate on top, not actually... Sorry, the Ophelia ultimate on top, not enough to save him there. Ophelia saving up for something. I'm not sure what though. And that is going to be like an... Valkyrie kill in the end for the Legions, for the Hellborn side there, which I think they're very, very happy with, because that started with like the Behemoth and the Valkyrie jumping the Monarch there. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane we saw Vulca and the Magmus going at it for a little bit. Actually, they're maybe setting up something. I don't think there's any vision here from the Hellborn team. Maybe they saw the rotation actually. No, there's a word of revelation on the cliff here. That's not a word of sight, it's a word of revelation. So I don't think they should have seen that rotation. Which means that Lodestone playing very passive there is just good map or good game awareness. This looks great for the Legion side, right? Because look at this. Look at the GPM chart. Valkyrie with only 380 GPM. Plague Rider, which is of course not really a hero that scales that well, only 360 GPM. Behemoth just got his boots basically. Doesn't even have a chalice yet, so 1 Q and he has to go back to base. I would not be like in Legion's position here. I'm thinking of ways of like how would you possibly be able to turn this from as the Legion side. I'm gonna be honest with you, like I just don't know. As we see 4 people actually going into the top lane, they're actually jumping Jeremiah now taking a lot of damage here. Actually, Jeremiah falling, Jeremiah popping his ultimate, not forgetting to pop his charm. Actually, not enough. There's a Calamity ultimate. Calamity taking a lot of damage, but here comes Lodestone in the backline, sniping the Valkyrie. Behemoth likely also going down. Behemoth popping his ultimate, but it does so little damage as there were no creeps in any place. Ophelia trying to pretend that he's not there. The enemies does not fall for it. I like to think that Ophelia tried to pretend to be a tree there. I don't think his tree roleplay is very much on point. Plague Rider maybe in a bit of trouble here. Lodestone does have a PK, of course, but Lodestone has no mana. I think... Oh, he has Chalice, so he can probably Chalice into Q. Yes, as he does here. Plague Rider getting jumped by Lodestone. Plus the Engineer, and Plague Rider is going to fall. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we see Genko actually getting a pick-off. A solo pick-off on the Calamity. And it's a 560 GPM Calamity that just fell there to Magmus. So that is a really big kill, actually. Magmus not having as terrible of a game. As in the bottom lane, we see Volca, the Frenchman, feeding his countryman. As he felt sorry probably for Kevin. He saw like that he had a negative KD and so was like, I'll give you a kill. Very, very social and nice from the Volca there. As the Hellborn team is playing super aggressive here. They're just completely an enemy team here. Jeremiah getting a Dawnbringer, it seems. Actually, that's a good Minotaur stun on the Engineer. Engineer actually getting almost saved by the Monarch ultimate and the tablets. And it's not going to be enough. Engineer had like... I think he had max movement speed, but... The last auto attack sniped the kill there. Magmus now going for the Monarch. Monarch getting hit by the arrow. Finally connecting that arrow on a stunned target. As Plague Rider... Ooh, Plague Rider finished the staff. Now this is some turn potential. I think if the entire Hellborn team balls up and hugs together... And then a Plague Rider ultimate... They could still come back as Lodestone pops his ultimate there. I don't know if they saw this. Lodestone going in on Behemoth. Behemoth got hit by the Lodestone ultimate. The Plague Rider is here and it bounces and bounces and bounces on the Lodestone and the Jeremiah. Jeremiah taking so much damage there. Jeremiah is going to man up though. The ultimate from Jeremiah actually saving him a lot. In the backline we see Calamity with so little HP. I think the Magmus ultimate... No, Magmus ultimate did not actually connect with the Calamity. There was some other damage coming out there. Calamity survives with a little bit of HP. Lodestone, of course, tanking the Plague Rider ultimate together with the Jeremiah. Meant that Jeremiah took the load of it because Jeremiah gave the trump to Lodestone. Which was a little bit actually... Oh, Plague Rider is in a little bit of trouble here. Plague Rider might just be dead here. The Restrain actually may save Plague Rider for now. The PK is still on cooldown for Lodestone. It's going to be up in 2 or 3 seconds here. Lodestone killing the... Oh, actually, the Butterfly gets in a bad spot here. He's actually blocked up completely. He says, "What are you doing, step bro?" As Behemoth picks off the Butterfly there. Shouldn't get stuck. That's your own fault. The Calamity in the mid lane now chasing or putting some pressure on the Valkyrie. They've used Valkyrie ultimate, but they had complete vision of that. Not just like in the river there, but also on the Ancients. As the ward from Monarch actually blows up, which means that they should realize that they saw the ultimate. So as they probably should, wait, I know they're not backing off actually yet. So they're kind of chilling in this area as Magmus goes full snark, as they say, and buys Shaman's Headdress. He did at least upgrade his boots, which is nice. But I don't know how much the Shaman's Headdress really does here, as Magmus actually goes in on the Lodestone there. Lodestone now taking a lot of damage, but here comes the TP support. Behemoth popping his ultimates. Behemoth being basically like the sacrificial lamp here, as the Magmus gets sent back to base. Behemoth gets jumped because Behemoth doesn't have any escape. Max just escapes the Calamity ultimate, as he just like gets pushed to the right side where he wants to be. And that means that Calamity, the Ophelia is at least going to survive there. Behemoth, the only one dying. And Behemoth, at this point in the game, like, the hero needs a PK. And if you have, if you have no way of farming a PK, especially against, like, those heroes that they have, it's so difficult, as Plague Rider in the top lane actually gets picked off. He almost got his TP off, but just not enough. The Jeremiah plus Lodestone finish him off there. But yeah, it's so difficult to get the PK here on the Behemoths, because everyone in the Hellborn team can kill you. Like, it's just one stun and you dead. That's why something like a Magmus in that like suffer role is a lot better. It's just not as easy to kill as a Behemoth is. Anyway, we see actually Valkyrie and the Jeremiah walking into each other here. Valkyrie also getting stuck. He did not learn from the butterfly. Getting stuck is not a good idea either, as he tries to TP out and dies anyway. We see... Ooh, look at this. I see a mine trap. Engineer is checking the enemy team for any potential barbed armors. See, there's another single barbed armor on the enemy team. Decides to make his first mine trap of the game, I think. So I really haven't seen like another mine trap. Max actually picking up a Staff of the Master. Wow, that is bold. There is a dragon here, which is really good for them. So that staff does have the potential to change some things. Also, if the Calamity, sorry, the Ophelia can staff the Valkyrie staff is really quite good still. Valkyrie staff also, of course, getting a small buff because of the buff on the Q. So that is, yeah, like quite a power spike for the Valkyrie, of course. Although you still need to hit your arrows if like that has, if you want to get any value from that. So it's questionable whether or not like Ophelia is actually going to be able to afford that, as they use the Valkyrie ultimate, but they have like a ward of sight here. No ref wards or anything coming out from the Legion side here to check for this Conqueror, as they maybe, yeah, they see this ward now. But yeah, they're not really using these Valkyrie ultimates in the smartest of moments. And also, actually, this is a really good block on the Ancients from Polo Boy, the Jeremiah here, placing a ref ward to block the Ancients. Valkyrie tanking the Kongor. Here comes Vulka. Vulka, is he going to snipe the Kong? No, he's not going to be able to, actually. Vulka sees a lot of targets that are very low. He goes for the Valkyrie. Valkyrie is able to leap out. Valkyrie is going to be fine here, I think. Yes, Valkyrie is... Oh, but the Lodestone, though, is so tanky. Here comes Calamity ultimate. That is the Plague Rider ultimate on top of the enemies there, but it's not enough. There weren't enough people there to really bounce on. Behemoth going down, Plague Rider going down, Ophelia going down. In the backline, only Valkyrie and Magmus are alive. And like the Calamity picking up a Shrunken is not actually something they can really deal with anymore. So I don't know. It's difficult. Like, it's really difficult here for the Legion side. Because like you can really get some big plays with that potential Plague Rider ultimates bouncing all over the place, but the Hellborn side doesn't really have to commit. Like there's just not that much damage coming out from the Legion side, so they don't have to super commit for these kills. They don't have to hug each other and like go full balls to the wall, you know? Valkyrie throwing an arrow is a little bit greedy, but then again, like there's not that much follow-up. So not that much like fast stuns for the Hellborn side here. Magmus running into the Engineer. Engineer actually getting decently close to his staff, it seems. They tried to chase down the Magmus. Magmus being able to port out means that Magmus is going to be more than fine. 3 people in the mid lane. 4 people in the mid lane. I can't count. Setting maybe something up here. They should realize that the camp is blocked here. Like, they've been trying to stack this hard camp for like a while now. As like the Ophelia staff, of course, is dependent on having an open Ancient slot. And they just block it again. They say, no, this camp stays blocked. No dragon for you, my friend. Behemoth is currently not in trouble. I think that the Jeremiah could potentially kill them quite easily there, but I think the Jeremiah was looking for the Valkyrie, who they saw run... Wait, did they? Oh, look at this beautiful ward. That is a ward of shame on the Legion Conquer Pit. The Nightcrawler not actually going up the hill, but down the hill. It actually gives a surprising amount of vision still. More than I thought it would. Like, that is one of those like shame moments, right? Because not only did you like just waste the ward, it's gonna stay there for everyone to see for the next like 5 minutes. That's the worst part. Like, what you want to do at that point is just like click it and just delete it, but unfortunately that's not how wards work in this game. But yeah, the lead is just increasing to grow for the Hellborn side here. The Hellborn side kind of dominating this game. I feel like they could really easily close it out as well. Because like they've been controlling these ancients, as Ophelia tries to deblock the camp, but here comes Calamity. Calamity smelling a free kill on the Ophelia there. Ophelia getting jumped by the Calamity. Calamity, of course, and getting that free kill, as it is so difficult to move around the map for the Legion side at the moment. Legion's side being, or the Legion team being hunted by the Hellborn team, as like the Legion's team just can't really kill anyone in the Hellborn team. Like, they've been trying to set up kills on this Lodestone, for example, right? They bring him down to like 25%, and then a team support comes in. And that is, I will say, like really well done from the Hellborn side. They always have TPs ready, and they always like instantly TP as like 4 people. But yeah, like, of course, I think part of that also comes down to Behemoth still not having a PK. He is, well, he was getting closer, as he had 1500 gold, and then he bought 2 wards. I feel like at this point, I've seen this like, yeah, I've seen this happening on like other Behemoth players as well. You need to be a little bit more selfish as a Behemoth player here, as Calamity actually picks up a Behemoth's heart. That's actually a really good pickup, because he is going to be so tanky. And of course, Calamity being a hero that just wants to be alive and in the front line. And you just passively steal so much agility then. But yeah, like the Behemoth needs to be a little bit more selfish. And Behemoth, oh, that's a Magma's ultimate. I hear somewhere being channeled. The Magma's ultimate jumping the Calamity, but Calamity got W'd by the Monarch and charmed on top. So that's tickled. That tickled. It's just like, oh, as Engineer forms a creep wave there. As the, I think the creeps got lured to his mines by his teammates. I think that is reportable potentially. Max apparently gave up trying to get Ancients and just picked up a catapult instead. The Legion's, the Hellborn side is just like slow pushing. And like the Hellborn side is like fine with this. Look at this. They used everything they had almost on the Calamity there, aside from their ultimates. So that's a 5-second stun, a 5-second arrow. That's a Magma stun. That's like Ophelia debuffs. And Calamity's full HP. Because Monarch W, Jersey W, and the heart, Behemoth's heart. But yeah, like the tower is going down. So slowly but steadily, like the Hellborn side is achieving their goals. So I don't know what you do here as the Legion side. Like you cannot kill the creeps before they actually reach your tower. It's too difficult. As like Calamity said at the moment, just screw waiting for creeps. I'll tank the tower like a man. As Magnus gets sent back by Ophelia as he jumps in. Behemoth. Okay, so I think Behemoth. If Behemoth sells the Grave Locket here, which gives him 350 gold, he would almost have XP gain. Valkyrie gets sent back by the Ophelia, which is not really that useful. Yeah. Like at some point, right? I'm going to run out of things to say if this continues. Because they have just been standing here. 5 people on one hill. 5 people on the other hill. for approximately like 3 minutes now, I think. I feel like I should make like a profane or like a profound comment about the definition of insanity. As Valkyrie leapt or charged in and got sent back. I don't think it's a Storm Spirit on the Hellborn team, so they don't have anything to cancel the send back by Ophelia. But of course, like, they can still burst them down with that Codex level 5 from the Lodestone, of course. But yeah, tower now at 20%. I think it started at like half HP or something. Yeah, like the Ophelia, sorry, the Climate, the Hellborn team is just achieving its goal. And there goes the tower. And now Calamity can basically just kind of stand uphill and... Like, they weren't really able to properly damage the Calamity when they had, you know, the tower still up. Like, without the tower, actually, Behemoth picked up a PK, he sold his Chalice. I think he has mana for everything. So that means that they saw the Valkyrie ultimate. That is a little bit unfortunate, as the Valkyrie ultimate is now wasted, of course. Behemoth, think maybe... No, Behemoth had a PK up, chose to not go in. They might now know that Behemoth has a PK, as they, the Behemoth, of course, showed the Rex is slowly but surely going down. The Lodestone is jumping in, and that is a kill. The Valkyrie as Lodestone codexes his face. Behemoth goes in, but the Calamity, of course, gets saved by his teammates. And all the, like, saves from the Hellborn team come out there to save the Calamity. And the Calamity is still at half HP. Was a 4-man mag missile, a 4-man mag, 5-man mag stun, actually.